Hi people. Sometimes the hardest seasons of our faith are usually the quiet ones, the ones where you still believe in God, but somehow your heart just feels empty. Lately, that's how it's been for me. Not because I stopped loving God, not because I stopped believing in God, or I just felt distant. And if I'm being honest, it's not the first time it's ever happened to me. This time feels different, really. I'm not sure why, but I think that it might be as a result of recent happenings, which I may not be able to share now, that have made me feel more the reality of God's intentionality. And it's just made me learn a few things. But lately, my prayers are shorter. My Bible has stayed closed longer than it should have. And the intimacy that I once felt with God started to feel unfamiliar. And if I'm being honest, it scared me a lot. Because when you know what it feels like to be close to God, you notice when something changes. You notice the silence, you notice the distance, you feel the emptiness. And for a while, I kept asking myself why I feel like this. Sometimes it felt like even when I tried to rebuild that fellowship with God, it felt difficult. The harder I tried on my own, the more difficult it felt. And I wasn't sure. I kept asking myself if it was the transition of moving to a new country or the pressure of adapting to a new life. Or maybe it was the fear, the uncertainty. But one thing that I'm learning in this process is that even when I feel far from God, He hasn't moved away from me. God doesn't abandon us in our quiet seasons. He meets us in them. So lately, I've been learning to come back. Not perfectly, with everything figured out, but just honestly. And some days my prayers are very simple. God, help me feel close to you again. Teach me how to walk with you in this new season. And one thing I'm learning is that intimacy with God isn't something you achieve once and keep forever. It is something that we keep choosing, that we keep working out daily. And so I'm learning to come back one prayer at a time, one moment at a time, one step at a time. So if you're in a season where you feel empty, where your faith feels quiet, where your relationship with God doesn't feel the way it used to, you're not alone. And more importantly, God is still right there. Yeah, He's still right there, waiting to welcome us back every single time. Intimacy with God isn't about perfection. It's about returning again and again and again. So, back at home in Nigeria, there was a gathering that the Lord helped us with called Avoda, a culture of worship. To me, it's not just a worship meeting. It's a culture where people gather with one hunger, and that's the presence of God. It's a Hebrew word that means service, worship, and devotion to God. That's the culture that we're trying to build. So even though I'm in a different country, God is still raising people who still believe in this vision, people who are willing to help build a culture of worship. And so this is an announcement. Avoda is back. And this time, it's not just a meeting. It's a community of people hungry for God's presence, a community that refuses to let worship go silent. If you've ever longed for a place where hearts are lifted to God without distraction, then maybe this is your invitation. Welcome to Avoda, a culture of worship.